Hello and welcome to the Cameo Show. I'm your host, Cameo. Today I'm going to be discussing an Instagram post, someone that I follow on Instagram, something that they shared that I found to be extremely interesting and extremely helpful. In fact, everything that this person posts is right in alignment with everything that he writes about in his books. His name is Brad Stulberg. If you're not following him, you should be. Right on his website, it says, I write about mastery, meaning, and excellence. No gimmicks, no hacks, just what works. And I would say following him on Instagram and reading his books, I couldn't agree more. I love seeing everything that he shares because I feel like I can just take it and really reflect on what I'm doing or what I maybe need to be doing differently to better my life. Today we're going to talk about 7 habits that he shared on this Instagram post that are simple ways to live better, live longer, and perform better in your day-to-day life. And they're all easy things, simple things that we already do. We can just make a priority and increase the quality of our life. So again, no fad diet, no gimmicky things and exercise trends, just literally what you're already doing, making it a priority and understanding why it should be. I wish Brad was a guest today on this podcast. I haven't reached out to him or his team, but perhaps we can have him on the show as a guest sometime. I would be elated, just a wealth of knowledge to share. His most recent book, Master of Change, How to Excel When Everything is Changing, Including You, is of course right up my alley because we talk on this show about life and all that it throws at you and how to embrace change, how to face change with courage, how to show up in your life. And that book is just, it's a national bestseller and I would love to have him on to talk about it. So we're going to put that out in the universe and I need to put some feelers out and see if I can make that happen. Anyway, let's get into it, right? So the first thing that Brad says is an important way to perform better, live longer, is to make sure that you are prioritizing 30 to 45 minutes of movement a day. What he's talking about, he says, doesn't have to be heroic. Obviously, the more you can do, the better, but that doesn't mean like through physical exertion. It just means a brisk walk or equivalent will do. Now, if you can walk 60 minutes, great. But something that you can stick to consistently is always going to win. I pulled up a couple stats to support this as if we need them, but a study published in the journal Circulation found that 30 minutes of moderate exercise, so that brisk walk that he's referring to, 5 times a week can reduce the risk of heart disease by up to 30%. I mean, I'm willing to take that chance to make sure that I walk for 30 minutes. Getting outside is also like a part of that for me. We walk the dog. It's not super brisk. I mean, I do lots of other intense physical activity too, which sometimes gets me in trouble. That's just me personally, but like just a great starting point is to make sure that you are getting outside, getting some fresh air, getting some sunlight, taking that walk 30 to 45 minutes a day. Michael Easter, he's written a couple of books too. He's not who we're talking about today, but he on his Instagram and in his speeches and in his books talks about how like only 1 or 2% of the people take the stairs. So if you're somewhere where there's an escalator or an elevator and you're going up 1 or 2 flights of stairs or even more, but you don't get all sweaty and nasty and you can take the stairs. Those are extra steps that you certainly can be taking in your day to increase the amount of activity that you're getting in. The other thing that Michael Easter in particular champions is rucking. So adding a weighted vest or a backpack when you go for that walk outside with your dog, because you add a little bit more weight and each step becomes just a slight bit more challenging. And that can be really great for your heart health as well. Obviously nothing, again, we're not talking about heroic effort in his words. The American Journal of Psychiatry also reported that regular physical activity can reduce the risk of depression by 26%. Now, let me tell you, I just recently got off of an 8 to 9 week period of time where I was not physically active because of my calf strain. If you are a listener every week, you're probably tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of talking about it, and I was certainly tired of living it. I'm so grateful and happy that it's over. But during that time, I struggled mentally, probably more than anything else. And quite honestly, I had more anxiety and in a more intense way than I have in so very long. And it was because I wasn't moving my body. I wasn't getting that energy moving throughout my body. It was like staying pent up in my body. So that stat I think is obviously very accurate. It's a study that has proven that, but it's actually something that I can relate to in real life from just experiencing it. So, practical ways that you can implement movement in your life: 30 to 45 minutes a day. Get outside, walk, take the stairs, do yoga at night, move that energy. I mean, you don't have to call it yoga if you get hung up on the idea of yoga. I used to for a really long time. Just call it stretching. Get on the floor. We call it sloga now. Get on the floor, roll around, move your body, stretch your arms, stretch your legs, stretch your back. I mean, it feels so great to not only just move your body, but to also feel what your body can, how your body can move, and then get into bed nice and limber and relaxed. The second thing that Brad mentions as a way to perform better, to live better, and to live longer is to avoid processed foods. Eat whole foods. I think that we have all heard and seen and probably likely understand that all calories are not created equal. It isn't about calories in versus calories out, that I can eat a ton more food and feel full and have sustained energy if I'm eating clean, whole foods, one-word ingredients, instead of processed foods, high sugar, that come along with a crash, that your body doesn't know what to do with. And literally, I'm not saying that it's easy. We live in a culture where it's difficult to get away from food that's not so great for you or processed food. It is literally engineered to entice you, to make you want more, to bring you into eating that instead of choosing the whole food. We all do it. I do it. Everyone does it. I mean, I'm sure not everyone. There's probably people who are like way more disciplined and don't slip and fall like I do, but I fall. And I would say that my goal overall is just to be sure that if given the choice of a pack of M&Ms, I'm not going to use chocolate. Chocolate's not a fair example. I am a sucker for chocolate, and I am not good at turning down chocolate. Anyway, if given the choice between eating a cheeseburger and French fries that are heavily processed, dipped in grease, from a fast food restaurant, it's convenient, it tastes good. Who doesn't love a good greasy cheeseburger? Or coming home and making 96% lean ground beef and eating that with a side of green beans, I'm gonna pick the cheeseburger and fries. No, just kidding. I have learned to pick the at-home food that I'm making that's not processed, that I know what it is. It doesn't mean I always like it, and it definitely doesn't mean it is easy, but it is definitely something that has become a focus, and based on tons of research, it is helping me at least improve my chances of living a longer life. According to a study in internal medicine, a diet high in whole foods is associated with a 22% reduced risk of early death. I'm willing to take that bet every time. At least it stays in my mind in a healthy way to remind me that there's a reason that I'm choosing the whole food over the processed food the majority of the time. Now, I'm not like perfect. Like I said, I do love a butterscotch dipped ice cream cone from Dairy Queen. I do love some birria tacos. Like, I am definitely no saint, but I would say that we work to eat at home. So that's something that you can implement. Take your food to work that you've made at home instead of going out for lunch. People fall into that trap. I think that's probably like one of the biggest ones, is that you're like out and you've got to eat out or you're in a hurry. Try to have food and healthy snacks with you at all times so that you're prepared for when that moment hits, that you have a good whole food choice. Choose fresh produce. Choose one-word items anytime you can. Like, we keep telling our kids, like, it just takes a few days and you adjust, your taste buds adjust. And then when you taste the artificial stuff, when you taste the processed stuff, you kind of go, oh, I don't really like the way that tastes, even though that's what I've been used to. Now that I've been eating fresh strawberries instead of candy, wow, this is like amazing. It's so juicy and fruity and it's natural and not processed sugar. You get the point. Number 3 on the list is prioritizing sleep. Now, I have an Oura ring. I love the stats that my Oura Ring presents every single morning. I wake up and I look to see how did I sleep, as if I can't already tell based on the bags under my eyes or if I feel well rested. But my ring definitely confirms what level of sleep I attained the night before. And I have so much room for improvement. I think we all know that when we have a good night's sleep, we feel better, we perform better, we are cognitively more available, we are less crabby, we are emotionally more stable. Also, that feeds into making better choices when it comes to movement and what types of food we choose, because when we're not tired and we don't feel run down, we tend to make better choices in those areas. But sleep is so important. Obviously, it's probably not realistic, although it is the goal to get between 8 and 9 hours of sleep every single night. People have lives. They also have responsibilities. They have kids. They have things, all the things, and you can't always get that amount of sleep, I understand. But I will say that this stat, another one I'm willing to bet on, I'm willing to take the bet and work toward getting closer. Individuals who sleep 7 to 8 hours per night have a 35% lower risk of developing heart disease. Heart disease, y'all, that is impacted by all of the things we're talking about. And if I can do little bits of improvement in all of these areas and encourage you to do the same, hopefully we will all actually reap the benefit that we're discussing here. One of the things that helps me, I have this ring, so it definitely helps me. It tells me at night, bedtime's approaching, it's time to start winding down. But one of the things that helps me is that I have a consistent bedtime routine. And when I do, it at least feels like I'm working toward making that a priority for myself. So my bedtime routine looks like this. Around 9 o'clock, I go in and either shower or wash my face and do all of that, brush my teeth. If I brush my teeth, I'm less likely to want to snack, do 15 to 20 minutes of yoga or sloga or stretching, whatever you want to call it. I spray magnesium on my feet. I put lip gloss on, and sometimes I spray some lavender oil or some eucalyptus oil to smell good and hop in bed. And even if I don't fall asleep right away, I have at least set myself up in a consistent way to try. We do like to watch our show at night. We get up very early a lot of mornings, so we are pretty disciplined about turning that off if we turn it on at all. But creating a relaxing bedtime routine for yourself, try it. Hold yourself accountable to it. Make it work for you and fit into your life, but make it something that helps you wind down and see if that helps improve your sleep. And then the other thing that I try to do, and I'm not an expert here, but like I said, not everybody's going to get that amount of sleep every single night consistently because we are humans with real lives and real stress and real things. So try to catch up on sleep by taking some breaks, some mindful breaks, some naps when you get home from work or whenever you can squeeze in a 15 to 20 minute power nap, literally, or when you have some downtime, catch up on that sleep and allow yourself to lay low, let your body recover, sleep a little extra, more than you maybe are able to during the week or more than you would normally, and see if you can't balance that recovery out. Sleep, so important. One of the things that my athletic trainer asks me often when I'm working on treating an injury or maintaining good physical health so I don't get injured is, how's your sleep? And actually my therapist, not physical therapist, my talk therapist asks me the same question. How's your sleep? So sleep is very important. They're asking for a reason. We have all of this data to support why sleep is important. It's just usually the first thing to go, right? So make it a priority. All right, number 4 on the list of 7 things that can help you live better, perform better, and live longer, according to Brad Stulberg, is limit or cut out alcohol. Y'all know, if you've been here for a minute, I can talk about the benefit of not drinking alcohol and all of the not so great impacts that alcohol can have on your life and your health. I can talk about that for days. I am 9 years sober. My husband is coming up on 10 years sober without alcohol. If you have substance abuse problems, obviously no alcohol is the route for you. If you do not find that you have substance abuse problems or you aren't sure that alcohol is causing an issue in your life in any way, there are health reasons to look into moderate consumption or no consumption of alcohol to improve your life and your longevity and your risk of disease, and all of those things. So I have several episodes at this point on the benefits or the impacts of alcohol. If it's something that you struggle with or something that you are interested in learning more about on a personal level, as well as, some of the stats and things that I share, please check out one of those episodes from the archives. I will tell you that in all of my years of not drinking, I attribute that probably first to all of the change and personal growth that I've been able to experience. And I would say the same for my husband. I haven't woken up any day in 9 years and said, man, I wish I was hungover, or man, I wish I drank last night, or man, just one beer would have made me have such a better time. But that's just me. And it's not as easy as probably everyone might think it is. It's definitely very difficult. Alcohol is everywhere, and I promise I'll get off this soapbox. But it is definitely a socially acceptable, and it is definitely a culturally acceptable thing in many places, not just here, but definitely here in the United States. There are health consequences and things to consider if it's something that you want to explore in an effort to perform better, to live better, and live longer. And I'll leave it at that. One of the things that helps me, let me say one more thing. One of the things that has helped me is taking it one day at a time, and also finding other alternatives. Like, there are tons of NA alternatives now that I don't feel like were available when I stopped drinking 9 years ago. So great IPA options. I mean, we have a 0% NA Blue Moon. Used to say like, oh, I don't drink because I like the taste of beer. I drink to get loaded. And that was partially true. But drinking an NA Blue Moon is like, wow, that actually is really good. So point being, there are other alternatives that do not have alcohol in them that will not inhibit your ability to perform or possibly affect your longevity and health that you can look into. Now I'll stop. I digress. Number 5, building genuine connections. I found this stat to be staggering. The Harvard study of adult development found that strong social connections can increase life expectancy by 50%. We are a social species. I'm going to be honest, I struggle in this area a little bit. I'm an only child, I am a lone wolf, and I am very goal-driven and logical, and I get very focused on what I'm doing, and a lot of times that doesn't necessarily always include a lot of interaction or energy spent in nurturing relationships outside of my core, my husband, my kids, my family. Often that makes me feel bad, quite honestly, because there are many people who are very important in my life that I probably should make it more of a focus. Not probably, I should. So this is a good reality check for me. But don't fall in that trap that, if you're making progress and you're taking care of yourself, you're not spending time on friendships or relationships. That's not true. That's bogus. We need human connection. We need regular catch-ups. We need teams and clubs and things that we're members of so that we can be around other people and around other opinions and feel the other people's energy and feel supported, feel connected. Again, we're all very busy. We all have our own things, our own lives, our own jobs, our own kids, our own responsibilities. Just make sure that you take some time to prioritize nurturing relationships in your life. Whatever that means to you, whoever that means to you. It says in Brad's posts that large studies show that loneliness is as bad for you as smoking. So something to consider as you are really allocating your time and energy. Make sure that you continue to build genuine connection in your life. Not just the people who are in and out because they are the people you see every day, hey, at the bus stop, but like genuine, real connection. And I'm probably not the best one to give that advice. I need to work on that myself a little bit. Number 6, avoiding tobacco and nicotine will help you perform better, live better, and live longer. Now, I don't think that probably comes as any surprise to anyone. We have been well versed in the dangers of tobacco and nicotine use. According to the CDC, smoking is responsible for 480,000 deaths per year in the United States. Still. Smoking. No offense, I smoked for almost 10 years, sometimes a pack a day. Greg smoked sometimes 2 packs a day for a really long time. Now, obviously, kids these days vape. It's not any better. It might be like a slightly less than cigarettes, maybe. I don't know. That might be baseless. But the British Medical Journal said that quitting smoking before the age of 40 reduces the risk of dying from smoking-related disease by about 90%. I quit before I was 40. I quit in my 30s, like altogether. It's hard to quit. It is the hardest thing I've had to quit. It's harder than sugar. It's harder than alcohol. I still think about smoking, and I still sometimes crave smoking and wish that it wasn't so bad for me. And the only thing that keeps me from smoking at this point is that I have conditioned myself that I want to live long and I want to be healthy and I want to be around for my family, my kids, my potential grandkids in the future, that I want to perform as an athlete. Otherwise, I might still smoke because it's just so damn addicting and it's just something that's really hard to kick. But there are support groups and there are replacement therapies, there's patches and there's gum and all the things. One of the things that was really important for me in order to quit smoking was to change some of my routines. Not drinking definitely helped because I feel like I always wanted to smoke when I was drinking, or I would say, I only smoke when I drink. When I drank a lot, so I've smoked a lot. But even as I stopped drinking, I continued to smoke a little bit. Changing a lot of my habits helped me stop smoking, the association with that. So if you're someone who's smoking, who has been smoking for years and is having a hard time with that, seek support. You're not alone. It is so bad for you, and you hear it and you know it and you see it, and it's so damn expensive now. I don't know how anyone buys cigarettes. Shoo. I digress. And finally, number 7 on the list is engaging your intellect. Mental stimulation, reading books, listening to podcasts, learning something new. If you've been around for a minute, you know that Greg and I do martial arts training. We've been doing kickboxing for a couple of years, Muay Thai, and we've been doing jiu-jitsu for, almost a year now, soon, with some time off for injuries, of course. And a lot of that is so mentally engaging. Half of it is that it's a cerebral activity. And those keep you young, they keep you fresh, they keep you agile. Engaging in intellectual activities reduce the risk of Alzheimer's by 47%. The Journal of Aging Research reported that lifelong learning and intellectual engagement can improve mental health and overall life satisfaction. Hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah? If you're new here, you don't know this, so let me just give you a quick backstory. Greg and I have been together almost 20 years. We moved to Florida from Ohio 10 years ago. We didn't know a soul. We were on fumes in our marriage. We were on fumes in our bank account. We were at a very low point. We hadn't stopped drinking yet. We hadn't stopped smoking all the time yet. And we made a commitment when we started making major change in our life that we were going to nix all of those things, that we were going to refocus our priorities on our health, our wellness, on our relationship. That's not just physical, that's also our emotional health. We went to therapy, couples counseling, the whole gamut. And one of the things that we also did was start reading a ton of books. I have books on books on books everywhere in my office, in our house. I think in 2017, we both read 100 books a piece that year. I mean, we have churned through books and still do. So if you're not a reader, I encourage you to pick up books and start getting excited about learning, because there's so much great information that's beyond scrolling on our phones and little doses that we get. There's audiobooks, there's podcasts you can listen in your car if you're not a strong reader, or you can't find the time to read, or you always fall asleep when you're reading, whatever the case may be. Making it a priority to have mental stimulation is essential for longevity, cognitive longevity, and just overall satisfaction in life, and back to building community and having connection with people. I mean, even that connection, that communication is an opportunity to strengthen your own intellect and to continue staying intellectually engaged. Brad says here on this particular post, continue to master old skills and develop new ones. Don't just jump to new things. Don't feel like you have to. Reconnect with your little kid. Reconnect with what you used to love when you were little and you had no limitations, and make more of that a priority in your life as well. That is also intellectually stimulating, mental stimulation to keep you young, to keep you fresh, to keep you learning. So there you have it. Brad, that's a zinger of a post on Instagram, right? It's a carousel. So you slide from one to the next, and all of his posts are like that, and I just can't get enough of it. And so definitely I'll link in the show notes his Instagram profile, his book on Amazon. He has plenty of podcast interviews with the likes of Ryan Holiday and others. He's been on their show to share his wealth of knowledge. Back to what I said at the beginning and kind of his whole premise of the post. These aren't things that you have to push yourself way outside and pick up something new. These are things that you're already doing in your life. It's just making them a priority and maybe seeing them as an opportunity to be a priority for different reasons, for your health, for your longevity, for your happiness, for the people around you. Embracing change, but this isn't super change. This is just maybe a little deeper development in some of these areas. So I hope you'll incorporate some of these into your life. Just start small. The most important part is just start. Thank you for being here. As always, I do hope that you'll subscribe or follow the show on whatever platform you're listening on. I do hope that you will share it with a friend. I do hope that you will text the show and say hello, or let me know what personal experiences you may have with any of these activities bettering your life so far, and how or why you make them a priority yourself. I do hope that you will leave a review. That certainly always is helpful for me to know what's landing and what isn't. And please do say hello on social media at Cameo Elise Braun, or you can jump over to my website, cameoelisebraun.com, all linked in the show notes, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. We have a new podcast episode every Wednesday. I do hope that you'll be back for that again next week, and a whole archive you can dive into if you haven't heard them yet. Until next time.